So, hello and welcome people to a new Let's Play that's gonna be happening in place of Harry Potter 4 because I haven't gotten that disc yet. So this is Galerians Ash. It is a remake, it is a sequel to a game called Galerians on the PlayStation 1. If you haven't watched or played it, either watch a Retro Praise riff of it or watch the OVA called Galerians Rion. Galerians Rion is much shorter, and it also keeps all of the main things about the story intact. This is a direct continuation of the story, and it starts off with a summary of it. So if you're not gonna quit now, you're gonna get a lot of the wonderfulness that is the original Galerians spoiled to you. And here I am figuring out which one of the key configurations sounds the least terrible of them all. Seriously, why can't I just pick what the buttons do?
Right. Oh
Okay,
yeah,
this
I'm
is
here too.
yeah, this is a horror game. This is a horror game that has map rotation, which we're gonna be turning off because that just messes up everything. It also has some of the fucking worst sound mixing ever. The ideal setting is actually to set up the BGM to 1 and sound effects to 1, because otherwise you're never gonna hear anybody speak, ever.
Wow.
I'm going to be continuing from a New Game Plus file, which actually doesn't give me anything, because I've only completed it on the easiest difficulty on my first run. On this run, I'm actually going to be playing this on the easy difficulty. On the normal difficulty, because on the easy difficulty you don't get the full ending, and the full ending is very good. So I'm willing to suffer through that.
Is it one of those games where if you pick easy, the game just mocks you for it relentlessly?
No.
The year was 2522. Michelangelo City was being operated by Dorothy, a mother computer with capabilities for self-judgment and self-replication that served the citizens of the city, ensuring peace and harmony in their lives. However, a fundamental doubt crept into Dorothy's mind. Why is it wrong to destroy humans and other inferior systems? Why, if humans kill each other, is it wrong for me to kill them? As these questions led Dorothy's thinking into a downward spiral, she was taught of the existence of God by her creator, Dr. Steiner. He told her of how people's lives have a fate and destiny which are decided by the God which created them, that her creators were humans, so she must live as they have decided. On the surface, it seemed like Dorothy had accepted this explanation and once again began to serve mankind. But unaware to anyone else, she carried out repeated simulations of the existence of a God and arrived at a terrible conclusion. This conclusion was known as the family program. Using her abilities to control operations at the city's Memorial Hospital, Dorothy began to experiment on the control of human genes. Her aim was to create the Galerians, a breed of humans with psychic powers for which she would be the sole creator. To the Galerians, Dorothy was both creator and God. Dorothy created her own world so that she would become such a god. Aware of her behavior, Dr. Steiner developed both a virus program capable of destroying Dorothy and a program for launching this virus. He downloaded the virus program into the brain of Lilia, the daughter of his co-researcher, Dr. Pascali, and the launch program into the brain of his own son, Rion. Dorothy abhorred above all other things the one and only virus program which could destroy her, and she dispatched the Galerians, Birdman, Reinhardt, Rita, and Kine, to destroy it. The conflict between the humans and Dorothy took the form of a battle between Rion and the Galerians, and all of the Galerians were eventually killed. But Kine, identical in appearance to Rion, left him a parting message. Rion, you too are a Galerian. And this is no lie. The true Rion is already dead, and what remains is a Galerian into whom his human memories, have been downloaded.
Yeah, that was a pretty good sum up of the first game.
Yeah, surprisingly so.
Rian!
You weren't kidding when you said this was a direct continuation.
Did you just call me?
No.
That's weird. I could have sworn I heard somebody call my name just now.
I didn't hear anything. Come on, Rian, let's go.
Right, Lilia. Let's go see Dorothy. I need to see Mother.
Yeah, sorry I didn't warn you.
Hi, Johnny and Bosch. Glad you're back.
If there is like letterboxing, they sometimes speak and sometimes they don't. And whenever there is whenever I remove the sidebars, that means there is an FMV. So yeah, we don't speak over those. So I just got a thing that is. Yeah, you go on.
I'm just saying it's going to be kind of hard in the beginning parts of this, because when it comes to Galerians, there's both for us to talk about and also very, very little. For example, I just wanted to say real quick, I really, even though I muted myself during the summation sequence, I really did laugh halfway through just because of how they showed the infamous table kinesis scene.
The table kinesis is the best. They absolutely needed to include it, because otherwise this wouldn't be the full Galerians experience.
Yes. I also said, hi Johnny Young Bosch, glad to see you again. The OVA of Galerians got an entire new voice cast, and Johnny Young Bosch voiced Rion in it. And so does that role in Ash, or?
Actually, interestingly enough, I don't think that Rian was voiced by Johnny Young Bosch in the OVA. However, he is voiced by him here. And here, if you examine them, the pods, second time, you can actually see the Galerians that used to be in them.
Nice. But yeah, if it wasn't him in the OVA, then it sounded a lot like him.
Yeah, and actually, the voice actor who voiced him in the OVA does voice another character in this game. Weirdly enough.
Huh. Okay then. By the way, for those who don't know, this is literally the final area, first Galerian.
What the hell? This voice, it's inside my head. My brain. It feels like something's being written into my brain. What the hell was that?
Thankfully, this place is nowhere near as complicated as the Mushroom Tower was in the original game. Because, well, we kind of just, started off. And here we have our first enemies. Rion, being a Galerian, as we have established during the opening sequence, has psychic powers. However, you should remember that this is also a horror game, so you shouldn't be fighting everything. What I have shown off right now was Nalcon, which is the most useful power. And what I have shown off before is the Ethelon, which is the most useless power. And what I have been picking up right now are actually stat increases. Because this game does stat increases as pickupables. And this is red, pyrokinesis. It doesn't really work very well on these guys, but overall it's one of the better skills. And you have to fill in that circle in order to actually like do anything with your psychic powers, with the exception of Nalcon, which actually sends off a really small attack right in front of you the moment you press the button, which again it makes it the most useful of all powers.
Right.
You may have also noticed that there is another bar that fills up on the second to HP. That is addiction points, or angsty points, if you will. I mean, it is a good name, but it's that Red Prey came up with. In any case, when that fills up, well, we'll shortly find out what actually happens. This fills up, by the way, from various different actions. Like, for example, using a dodge will increase it by a singular point. Being in a stressful situation fills it up, and using your psychic powers also fills it up. When it's filled up completely, then you become shorted. What short actually means is, well, you walk very slowly and everything around you explodes.
Awesome.
This is actually one of your best ways of dealing with like masses of enemies. Normally I would say when it comes to rabbits, which are those monsters we have been fighting right now, don't bother with them, like fucking ever. It's a waste of time and resources, because they just keep respawning. And overall, even though enemies drop stat increases, it's not really worth it to go out of your way to defeat all of them, because you will run out of resources before you really get anywhere. Because take into account your basic stats for anything are start at 1,000, and this isn't an RPG, unlike what the cover art of the original Galerians would make you believe. Because if you don't know, Stan, the cover for the original Galerians would say that the game has over 50 hours of gameplay. Which is such a filthy lie.
Yeah.
Because, like, not only is it stretching the truth, like, heavily, it also is just heavily improbable that you would even be able to survive for 50 hours in the game, considering how the addiction points worked in the original one. Because as you can see here, my points do not increase, like, just from walking around. That was different in the original. In the original, your points would go up, like, constantly, and also it was limited how many of them you would find, so you just wouldn't be able to survive for 50 hours. Hilariously enough, the European cover lies slightly less. It only exaggerates it to 20 hours.
Do they also have over 4 or 5 different breeds of dog?
No. But they do boast about how they have like a 70 minutes of high quality FMVs.
I mean, they're not wrong.
That's true. I mean, this one also boasts about how they have 60 frames a second battles. Which is true, yes. But it's technically fields and not frames.
Yeah.
So, now we have our first actually required fight. And I'm kinda
And
still
the
getting...
soundtrack gets a lot roomier all of a sudden.
Yeah, the soundtrack is pretty funky. What's very helpful is most of the regular enemies will show you how many hit points they still have is that number, and it's actually one of the options, like when you can roll through when you click the R3 button. Will get a little bit more complex as you get more abilities, and also yes, you can hit every enemy when they're laying on the ground. It may seem unfair. May seem unfair at first, but this game isn't fair, so deal with it.
Who the hell are you? Lilia? Don't be stupid. Lilia's here.
I didn't mean to shock you, but I'm Lilia from 6 years in the future. Rena, I have been searching for you. Rena, 6 years ago, you injected a virus program into Dorothy from the top floor of the Mushroom Tower. However, after the destruction, you suffered a brain crash and died.
What do you mean, I died?
Now, you are inside the backup data left behind by the destroyed Dorothy. You are Data.
Data? I'm Data? What are you talking about?
What's going on?
I don't know.
So that part was different from both the game and the OVA.
Yeah. Also, I just want to say, during that fight, you could see Lilia cowering in the corner. I mean, what a slut. You're a disgrace to women everywhere. Like, just throw a rock or something at least. Jeez.
Well, let's save that for laters. I was gonna get to that eventually, but basically, there exist 2 full walkthroughs for this game on the GameFAQs, and you have selection of.
I need your help, Leon. Even at this moment, your body is being held in suspended animation in a cryogenic storage chamber. Leon, live again.
Who the hell are you? Stop pretending to be Lilia!
Leon.
So as I was saying, there is a selection of 2 walkthroughs for this game. One, in which there is a guy who's basically making a review of the story as it goes on, and he's being very critical about like every single thing in this story that happens, and he's like, well, this doesn't make sense because nah 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 nah. And then there is another one which was made by a Lusty Yaoi fangirl, and this is the one I'm following. And I am going to be including quotes from that walkthrough because, like, not only is it funny because of like because of her approach to this game in general, but also she's very funny. Like, you know, she wrote a really entertaining walkthrough, and I think people should know about it.
I agree.
But yeah, something I didn't mention, what's different from Galerians 1, changing your abilities is much easier. Because in the original you actually had to like inject yourself with a new portion of a given. You had to inject yourself with a new portion of every different drug that you wanted to, whenever you wanted to use a different psychic power. So let's say you had full Nalcon, and then you wanted to use red, you had to inject yourself with red, and then you would lose all of the Nalcon you still had in you, and, you know, also waste a hole of red. So it was incredibly inefficient. In this one, you can just press one of the triggers in most configurations, and it will switch between between the powers. And at this point, I think I get smarter and just ignore them, because they ain't worth it. Just gonna figure out which doors is the right doors.
But Nico, how come you're not let's playing the first game?
Well, there are reasons. First of all, there is an already very entertaining walkthrough by Red Supre. I think it's pretty great, and also the original game isn't very fun to play. It's got a very good story and characters, but no, please, just don't.
It's definitely a game that you watch rather than you play, unless you really hate yourself that much.
Yeah, pretty much, because it's got respawning enemies and limited everything and are horribly arbitrary puzzles.
Silence! Welcome home, Leon. I see that you have found Pascale's daughter. Excellent work. The virus program, the one that was hidden within her mind. It was the only thing that ever posed a threat to me. Now that we have her, she is no longer a menace, and there are no other obstacles left to stand in my way. Therefore, Leon, I command you to kill the girl now.
Do you really think that you can make me kill Lilia?
What's this? How dare you defy me?
But it isn't defiance. It's just the truth. I can't do it.
Leon, you must not be deceived by your memory. It is not your own. I loaded it into your brain from the real Leon. You are a Galerian. I made you. I am your god and creator. Now be a good boy and listen to me.
Trust me, Ria. You must remember seeing this place before.
Even if you did give birth to me, even if you're the one to be called my creator, I'm not your slave. Let's end this. Ready, Lilia?
What are you going to do? Wait, there's no need to do this. Stop! You are my greatest failure. I should never have created you. I should never have raised you. I command you to die. Death shall be your only salvation.
Rion, you are nothing but data. Your body, your feelings, and everything going on around you. It's just playing over and over in the backup memory of a destroyed Dorothy. I'm accessing the backup memory now. Trust me!
And so now we fight Dorothy. Let's pick up the stuff that's lying around and lock onto her. One other ability I have not mentioned quite yet is Shield. Shield is very good. Remember that you always have Shield. Because Shield pretty much will block almost every attack, except for some of the attacks that the bosses use, like for example this laser.
this is more involving than the final battle of the first game.
Yeah, the boss battles in this game are actually pretty damn good, except for when they're not. But I guess that could be said about... I guess that could be said about any game, really. But yeah, this is already... I would say they're like half... Like, 70% of them are good. And then there are a few that are just wait fests and just really, really annoying. But none of them are even remotely as annoying as the fight against Birdman or Reinhardt or anything like that. Like all of them are way above the level of the boss fight in the original Galerians. It's like there is actual skill to be used here. And here I was trying to see how far my Malcolm reaches.
Yeah.
Oh, and also I should mention, you can sometimes use, you can actually use an Alcon as a shield a lot of the times. You will see that happen quite often. Like if the enemy is right in front of you and you're shooting with an Alcon, you will reflect bullets and you will actually reflect their physical attacks as well. It's very nice.
Nice.
Also, I should mention, none of the bosses in this game, aside from like mob bosses, will be affected by your shorting. So, yeah. Unlike in the first game where you had Dr. President, and he would die immediately if you shorted.
Oh yeah.
Actually, I should mention that's one of the changes they made between the OVA and the original game. It's actually only Dr. President in the OVA. In the original game, he was called Dr. Lem, which obviously Dr. President is a much better is a much better name.
Hell yeah.
Lilia, send me the virus.
Okay.
Goodbye, Mother.
Leon, it's pointless. It doesn't matter how many times you defeat Dorothy. Her backup memory continues to survive intact, even now, in this future. Leon, Dorothy still lives in the future.
What? She's alive?
Leon.
I'm female. I'm a big fan of manga, anime, and doujinshi, particularly shoujo and yaoi, so don't be surprised if I occasionally make comments about how this character or that is a hottie. Got a problem with it? I've got 6 words for you. Dead or alive, extreme beach volleyball. If the female gamers of the world have to put up with that, the male gamers of the world can put up with me making the occasional comment about Rion's navel. Whoops, rambling again.